Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about somewhat of a controversial topic in the heroic GMS servers, and that is essentially going to be loot, but more specifically how you obtain loot, how much loot you actually get from bosses, and what loot should be incorporated into the loot tables while bossing. And while a lot of people have had their ideas, speculations, and thoughts and opinions on what should and shouldn't be in the game, ironically, Team GMS implemented arguably one of the best changes that they could have done for heroic GMS, but unfortunately it was deemed a bug. So for those of you guys who do not know, during the One Punch Man collaboration or Wild Hunter remaster event, they had implemented a change over from Korean Maplestory. Now, what was that change? Well, that change was adding in different loot distributions into the loot table and adding a brand new item called the Chaos Pitch Box Selector. So essentially what this means is, well, you were doing bosses like Chaos Kalos, Hard Calling, Extreme Adversary, Hard Adversary, you were getting more abundance of pieces. And more specifically from bosses like Chaos Kalos, you'd be getting 7 pieces, and for Hard Calling, you'd be getting 9 pieces total. Now, these are the numbers for solos, and then when you were in a party, it was randomly distributed to the party members as well. And then on top of that, they did add the Chaos Pitch Boss Selector to the drop table for bosses like Hard Calling, Baldrix, and Limbo, I believe. I could be wrong, they could be for other bosses, but I do believe that the Chaos boxes are added in Korean Maplestory in future updates at this time. Now, the point of making this video is they accidentally added these items into the heroic servers, where these were only supposed to be a GMS regular server exclusive addition to the game. But the problem is heroic is one of the most difficult servers in the world actually to obtain loot and obtain pitch boss items in. And ironically, this was a great change for GMS Heroic. This allowed more people to get better loot, allowed more parties to get better loot distribution, and it also rewarded players the further and further they get into the game. For example, a lot of players don't really get rewarded too much when they get to the end game or late game, especially for bosses like Chaos Kalos and Hard Calling, because you're running these bosses down monotonously and you're not really getting a ton of loot from these bosses. You're only getting 2 pieces every single time you run it, but obviously with this change, you'd be getting 7 pieces from Chaos Kalos and 9 pieces from Hard Calling. And on top of that, throughout the rest of the boss list, you'd be getting a opportunity at the chance to obtain a Chaos Pitch Boss box. So obviously when this got implemented into the game, a lot of people were running down their Hard Calling, their Hard Limbo, their Hard Baldrix, and they were getting a ton of these Chaos Pitch Boss boxes, almost at a rate that seemed like the same rate of the arcane armor boxes in heroic Maplestory. But unfortunately for the people who did not get a chance to run their bosses or were not able to run their bosses within this time, Nexon GMS had patched this pretty much the day after, which in my opinion, I totally understand that this was a bug. It was not supposed to be in the game, but at the end of the day, this is one of the best changes that they could actually implement into the heroic servers to balance out loot distribution and make progression easier in Maplestory. For those of you guys who do not know, we've been brainstorming tons of ideas, tons of ways, and thinking of things that they could do for the heroic servers to make the loot obtainability a bit easier for players in the mid game, late game, and obviously end game as well. And funny enough, none of us ever really thought to just say, hey, let's just implement the Korean Maplestory changes into the global heroic servers, and that would be a great fix. For the longest time now, we've just been thinking and brainstorming new ways that they could add new pieces of content like the Mystic Frontier and other things around that type of structure to make the loot better for this server. But ironically, the best thing that they could actually do is just take the changes from Korean Maplestory, tweak them slightly. And what I mean by tweak them slightly is making the 7 and 9 pieces from Hard Calling and Chaos Kalos and the other bosses instanced for the entire party, and then also adding in the Chaos Pitch Boss box as well and making that instance as well. I think this would be a great opportunity and a great way to actually increase the loot, reward players for playing the game, and just give the game a better feeling and a better sense of progression while playing the game. So while we're on this topic as well of drop and things that they should add into the game, I definitely think one thing that Team GMS needs to look into is the grindstone drop rate as well too. This is something that is extremely important for the progression of not only mid game and late game players, but also end game players as well. Having this grindstone be a non-instance drop makes it nearly impossible to actually upgrade any rings in heroic servers. Now, I know what a lot of you guys may be saying, well, I only use 1 or 2 grindstones and I've already got a level 5 ring, but for a lot of players, there's a ton of people out there that are anywhere between the realm of 20 to 40 grindstones used, and they have yet to see a level 5 grindstone. And a lot of those people actually have prio on the grindstone. So if you're somebody who's running this boss and you also have to share that grindstone loot prio on top of failing 30 or 40 grindstones, that could take an immense amount of time to finally make an upgrade. And then of course for the level 6 grindstone as well, your rates are now cut in half, making it a 5% chance to go for every single grindstone you've seen. And I know for myself personally, ever since they've implemented the level 6 grindstones, I've only seen 2 of them total, and with a rate of 5%, I just don't think it's something that is feasible in heroic servers to actually upgrade on. I think this is something that they definitely need to look into and potentially tweak the rates of and make these drops instance. I think the heroic drop situation is a big deal, and it's something that they've already been looking into, but I think with this past update and the implementation of this quote-unquote bug that they had added into heroic, I think this gives them a better insight of things that they can do to make the progression and loot distribution in heroic servers a bit easier and more fair and more fun and enjoyable for all the players in the game, without having to come up with some gimmicky new system like they did with the Mystic Frontier. Now, don't get me wrong, Mystic Frontier is absolutely great. It's a passive system. You don't have to do anything for it. But what I mean is they don't have to do something super crazy and use a ton of resources for a dev team to create new content, rather than just tweaking the current content we have and tweaking the current rates that we have as well. So then now that we've gone over pretty much everything that has happened throughout this brand new update and things that have changed for potentially better and then got fixed for the worst, what are your guys' thoughts on this situation? Do you guys think that they should have kept in the loot distribution or the drop table that they accidentally added from Korean Maplestory? Or do you guys think that it was too OP and too broken for our servers? Let me know what you guys think. Me personally, I think it was a great way that they could have implemented a brand new drop and loot distribution table into heroic servers. But again, obviously it's something that has gotten patched, so we'll have to wait in the future to find out what Team GMS is going to do about it. Obviously, as the game progresses more and more and the end game content gets more difficult and difficult, these are things that they're going to have to stay up to date with, because if they don't, the content in the game obviously will not be clearable, because the heroic servers don't really have the loot or the items to actually make the upgrades to do the content that gets implemented into the heroic servers. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm definitely curious to see if you guys think it's a good thing, changes that you guys think that they should make, or if you guys think that the game is perfect the way that it is right now. But with that being said, guys, that is going to wrap up the video for today. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.